Hello again everyone, it's me Johnny. I want to thank you for checking out my channel. And today I want to talk to you about the importance of obtaining your medical records after a cancer diagnosis. When I first got diagnosed with thyroid cancer, I knew nothing about the system I was going to be immersed into. I couldn't tell you what doctor did what, had nothing, no clue. Couldn't tell you the difference between a PET scan, CAT scan, MRI. I couldn't tell you the difference between what a CBC blood test means with diff versus another blood test. I just went on whatever my doctor told me to do. That's what I did. And for those that don't know my story, I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and thyroid cancer at the same time. And the fact that I went to an endocrinologist, a specialist, he just focused on the one part, my thyroid. And when you went back and you read my records, it shows that the initial CT scan that I had swollen lymph nodes. And I knew nothing about it because I didn't know that I can obtain my own medical records. I would go make an appointment and wait for him to tell me what it is that came up with my records, and he would hold it and read it to me, you know, of what it was, and he says, you're going to be fine, you're going to be fine, which wasn't the case. A few years later, I was then diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. What became a game changer for me is when a friend told me I can obtain my own medical records. And I didn't know that. I had no clue that I could obtain my own medical records. And when I did that, it was a game changer for me. It changed everything about my road to recovery. It put me in the driver's seat because I started to learn about the things that my doctor didn't tell me, the things that weren't brought forth when I went, for my appointments, which a few years later I'm still dealing, with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And by that time it was possible stage 4. So had he caught it years ago and we would have dealt with it then, it probably would have been a lot more different because I knew nothing and I was afraid. You hit the panic button. But the game changer for me was when I got control and got a hold of my own medical records. What it does when you have your own medical records, you can make a plan for yourself. You can make decisions. The more educated you are about your diagnosis, the better decisions you're going to make. You're going to be on the driver's seat. Okay, you can pick out the doctors you want to work with and make decisions based upon what you know. Having your own medical records, when you walk up to your doctor and you're sitting there in his office and you have your medical records, your files in a folder, and when he pulls it up on the screen and he starts reading it to you, you can start asking him questions. And that's what I do. Anytime I go to my doctor's office now, I always have my medical records. If I went to another doctor, I get the medical records from that doctor and I bring it to my other doctor, make sure it's in my file. So they're working in conjunction with trying to get me, healed, trying to get my body to heal. But if you don't have your medical records and you let someone else control the situation, you're at a deficit. You're only harming yourself. And I know it's very fearful getting diagnosed with cancer, but it's even worse when you're not educating yourself. You're not gaining the knowledge that you need, because a PET scan, the results of a PET scan, it is what it is. You're going to have to deal with it. And the faster you get your hands on your medical records, the more quality decisions it allows you to make, the more you can study about it, the more you can write down questions that you can ask, whether it's an oncologist, whatever doctor you're dealing with. The more knowledge you have about your situation, the better off you're going to be. Whether you want to go naturopath, whether you want to go chemo, whether you want to use an integrative approach. This allows you, when you obtain your own medical records, to, like I said, put you in the driver's seat, so you can really make those decisions that are going to affect the rest of your life. When I first went through thyroid cancer, I allowed somebody else to make the decision, knowing that I kept telling him there's something else wrong, there's something else wrong. It wasn't until I read my first initial CT scan that it showed that not only did I have thyroid cancer, but I also had swollen lymph nodes throughout my GI tract. And once I got my medical records, game changer. And I went from a possible stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and now I'm in stage 1, they say, and I'm still continuing to heal, less pain. I go for my PET scan in a couple months. Blood work and everything is doing fine. So I'm on the road to recovery, but it was a long road, and I learned a lot along the way. And most people don't know that there's different things that happen behind the scenes when you get a PET scan or a CT scan. There are different doctors that are involved. And in my case, I can only speak how it works for me. Okay, I've got this little graph here. Maybe you can see it. All right, I don't know if you can see all that. But for a PET scan, okay, what happens when you get a PET scan, after the scan is done, the results are forwarded to what's called a radiologist. This guy sits in a little room, and he's got these big screens, and he's going over what he sees, and he's writing a report. He's doing dictation. He's dictating the report about what's going on in your body. Once he signs off on this, okay, in my case, because we have electronic medical records where I can log onto the computer and pull up my own medical records, I don't have to wait to go to my oncologist. I can start making my plan and devising a scheme that'll make me better. I can forward my own records to my naturopath physician, which is what I do. That's how I handle it. And so by the time my oncologist gets this, all right, sometimes it depends on each case. Some they might hold you for a couple of days. Some people might be a week. Some people might. It all depends. It all varies on how they flow. For me, I like to control the situation. And by the time I get to my oncologist's office, I already have the questions that I want to ask. I have whether the tumor is shrinking or it's metastasized. In my case, I'm very fortunate, very blessed, and I thank God that mines continue to shrink. I continue to feel better, less pain. Now I'm working out. I'm riding my bike. I'm spending more time outside on the beach. I couldn't do that a few years ago. And I want to make this video is that you don't have to wait to hear from this guy. You can jump. Soon as the PET scan is done, soon as this radiologist guy finishes reading your report and he signs off on it, you can go to the hospital, wherever you get your scan done, and request a copy of your medical records. Or if you're in the hospital getting it done, before you leave the hospital, get a copy of your medical records, because it's going to put you in the driver's seat, and it's a game changer. It is what it is, and I know it's scary, but the more educated you are, the better off you're going to be. You know, there's no guarantees, but you can build a good team, a healing team. And I talk about this in my other videos. That's one of the things you want to do, is educate yourself, build a healing team. Get the people around you that are going to rally around you that you can call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because I have mine. You know, there's sometimes when I can remember when, you know, I would have where I couldn't breathe at night. You know, when I first got diagnosed, it was a bunch of stuff going on in my life. I was so toxic and knew nothing about it. When I got my medical records, I faced it, read it, and started devising a plan where it put me in control of my own health. And now you see, if you see me today, if you would see me speak at a lecture or something like that, I'm totally different. And I thank God for what He's done in my life. And I thank the people along the way on my cancer journey. So many people I've met that just bless me, you know, just encourage me to keep on going. You know, I may have a smile on my face, but sometimes there's pain. And I thank God the pain it's down to a minimal now. So I know I'm doing the right thing. And what the game changer was for me is obtaining my own medical records. And you'd be blessed, because the more educated you are about your diagnosis, the better off you're going to be, and you'll be able to make quality decisions. And I know I keep on hitting that because it's so important. And I'm going to end here. It's going to be a short video, but God bless you, love you. Reach out to me, any questions, and God bless and take care.